Have I told you the definition of insanity?
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
The Dallas Mavericks repeatedly find themselves in a hole because their head coach is Jason Kidd. And while he's not the worst head coach in the NBA, that's say it for a special man out there in Milwaukee. No, not Darvin Ham. In fact, he's probably not even a bottom 10 head coach in the NBA. He's developed some young guys well, like Derek Lively, like Jaden Hardy. Josh Green even came along under his tenure before he left for Charlotte. Guys seem to like him. Luka Doncic enjoys playing for him. Kyrie Irving has had no flare-ups. Damian Lillard wanted him. LeBron James wanted him. No, Jason Kidd, old Four Eyes, old Baldy with the glasses, old Jason Kidd does not know how to be a winning head coach. And there's three types of head coaches in the NBA. There's the guys who develop your players like Mark Dagnall. Mark Jackson unlocks their potential. There's guys who develop and build a culture like Eric Spoelstra, who's able to bring heat culture, a mentality to every single player on the court. And then there's guys who make the adjustments, who contribute to winning basketball. That means forcing guys to play in the roles. Maybe they want to, maybe they don't. That means forcing other players to accept the roles that they need to be in. That means letting your superstars ball out. That means putting them in positions to succeed. That means drawing up plays and running creative offenses and defenses. Guys like Nick Nurse, guys like Steve Kerr. And the problem with Jason Kidd, the dilemma that we face is that he cannot draw up an offense if he wanted to. He cannot run after timeout plays. He cannot make defensive adjustments. He cannot motivate Luka Doncic to stay in shape, to not be fat, to give a at defense. You look at a guy like Nikola Jokic, same body type. Joker's about half a foot taller, but Joker plays defense. He flails his arms, he kicks his legs out, he tries to deflect balls, even though he's about as agile as a slug. He also tries on the defensive end, something that Luka Doncic does not when they gave up a game-winning layup to the Utah Jazz because of a defensive lapse. And things like that, sure, we can reflect on the player, but ultimately they reflect on the coach. He is not locked in. He does not have these guys buying in. For all intents and purposes, he is saved by having somebody as talented as Luka Doncic running your team. And while I was watching the nationally televised Golden State Warriors game, the difference between a championship level head coach and a guy like Jason Kidd was night and day. We're going to pick up with them at the fourth quarter. Under 5 minutes remaining, the Dallas Mavericks have a 7-point lead. For the most part, you have a 7-point lead. You're going to want to take this home. Now, what the Warriors have been doing is running the dive. Was it the dive roll? Basically, they get Draymond Green to set a screen here, and then he runs into the paint, and then the real screen is going to come over here. They're going to be picking on Daniel Gafford. What this is going to do is have Draymond Green roll, and Daniel Gafford is going to have to think about, oh my gosh, I might give up an open layup or an open alley-oop here. And then Steph Curry is going to come off the next screen and be wide open. First screen is set by Draymond Green. Klay Thompson has to switch. Now Quentin Grimes is guarding Daniel Gafford. Then comes up the next screen from Kevon Looney. You'll notice that Daniel Gafford has to hesitate here to make sure that Draymond Green, who's not even looking at the basket, doesn't get an open layup. He's way over here. Steph Curry's getting a screen. Klay Thompson clank, wide open three. They're just lucky that this misses. And this is after a timeout by the Dallas Mavericks. This is what the Dallas Mavericks offense looks like. They are basically playing whoever offense on Steph Curry. This was a good decision to do back in 2016 when Steph Curry was horrific on defense, but you'll notice now that Steph Curry is actually a pretty good defender. He put on a lot of weight. His defensive instincts have improved. He's not a total liability on the defensive end, that caliber of a Trae Young. He actually plays well. What the Dallas Mavericks want to do is they're going to run a double screen here. Clank, clank. They're going to switch D'Anthony Melton and Andrew Wiggins. They're going to switch Steph Curry and D'Anthony Melton, and Steph Curry's going to end up on Luka Doncic. And then it's just, Luka, please go create for us. Clank, clank. Luka, please create for us. Dribble, 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 dribble. And then Steph Curry, like I said before, has improved his defense. He's able to hold Luka Doncic out of the paint. He pokes the ball away, and then it's a scramble because Luka Doncic iso ball is not always going to work out. Luka is an incredible player. They've built an offense around Luka Doncic creating, but at the end of the day, if you're asking one guy to do everything for your team, sometimes he's going to get foiled, and bad offense leads to a turnover. Okay, next time up the court, your lead is now dwindled to 4. You're going to need to run some offense. Here is what the entire extent of the offense is going to be. Luka Doncic off ball is going to do nothing but sit in the corner. Klay Thompson off ball is going to do nothing but sit right here. Daniel Gafford off ball is going to do nothing but sit in the dunker spot. Quentin Grimes is going to come over to set a screen, but he sets it at a bad angle. Kyrie Irving rejects it, and then it's Kyrie Irving iso ball for the next 19 seconds. Dribble, 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 dribble. Here comes a screen. Quentin Grimes is going to say, let me set it here and give you a really tough angle to go around. Kyrie Irving says, no, I'm not going to try that. Rejects the screen. Dribble, 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 dribble. Draymond Green's going to shade over here, and we're going to be playing basically 3v4 with the rest of the guys, but make sure that we give up nothing in case De'Anthony Melton gets beat off ball. Dribble, dribble, drive, pass. You have to get bailed out by an impossible Daniel Gafford. I don't even know what you call this, like a weird contested, my elbows are hitting your arms, floater, jump shot, whatever for the mid-range, which is good. But the thing that I always say about NBA role players is when you ask guys to play out of position, you ask guys to do more than what they're capable of, that's when you get bad results. Now, this is the difference between a good team and a bad team. In this possession, the Golden State Warriors are going to get stuck in a Steph Curry ISO, please save our possession, which is unfortunately the default for the Dallas Mavericks. They kick it to De'Anthony Melton up here. He doesn't realize the first action of this play is Draymond Green going to come here, set a screen on Quentin Grimes. Steph Curry's going to pop open. Hope that he gets a quick three-pointer out of it. Quentin Grimes chases well, and this is still a contested three. The immediate action is to dump the ball into the post, and they're going to run their split cut action, but they're already trying to run something off ball here. De'Anthony Melton off ball, getting a screen from Jonathan Kuminga. The Mavericks switch. Luka Doncic covers the cutter. Kyrie Irving is now on Jonathan Kuminga, and now Jonathan Kuminga immediately flips this to a flare screen for Steph Curry, who's going to be over here for an open three-pointer. Steph Curry runs. Quentin Grimes clank. The only thing that saves the Mavericks in this possession from a wide open Steph Curry three is, oh, who is this? The former Splash brother, the former Warriors legend, Klay Thompson, immediately recognizes what's about to happen as Draymond Green's about to zip the ball over. The only thing that saves the Mavericks from an open Steph Curry three ball in this possession is Klay Thompson immediately recognizing what the play is. He's going to leave Andrew Wiggins, subpar three-point shooter, to guard his old Splash brother Steph Curry, which blows up the entire play. Now they have a double. Steph Curry's stuck. Everybody recovers back to their man. And this is how the Warriors get into a Steph Curry, please save our possession ISO ball play. They have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 actions blown up. They have to have the other team signing their former Splash Brother legend, a guy who's been on the team for 10 years, recognize the play that's being ran and rotate over to help, then double team. That's how many steps the Golden State Warriors need to have for their plays to run into ISO ball. As for the Mavericks, the very next possession, they're just going to do whoever offense on Steph Curry. That's the whole offense. Anthony Melton's going to hang around here. They're trying to run the play a little too early. Luka Doncic hasn't even crossed half court, and he's going to be the first screen. Quentin Grimes is going to come over here for the second screen, but they're going to set it way too far up. Kyrie Irving, for all of his great shooting, isn't a 35 to 40-foot three-point shooter, so he's not going to get a good screen there. First screen, completely useless. Luka Doncic gives little to no effort. Second screen, completely useless. Quentin Grimes doesn't set a good one. He goes to reset, then tries to do a backdoor cut. Nothing comes out of that, and now here we are, 12 seconds remaining in the shot clock. Kyrie Irving, save our possession. Next up, have I told you the definition of insanity? And the annoying thing, the frustrating thing about watching this play that the Warriors run is that if you just operate a switch everything defense, you guys are going to be fine. If you pre-switch the way that the Celtics do, you're going to be fine. But once again, have I told you the definition of insanity?
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Andrew Wiggins going to come up here, set the screen, clank. They're going to do an easy switch because the Mavericks have little to no desire in regular season games. So Quentin Grimes, their best defender on the perimeter, is going to switch, which means Luka Doncic is going to be guarding Steph Curry here one-on-one. And then the real play is to pick on Daniel Gafford, their center. So now the Mavericks defense is stuck with a Luka Doncic, Daniel Gafford, can you guard Steph Curry pick and roll? Here comes the first screen. Switched way too easy. If you remember just before, the Warriors didn't switch this play with De'Anthony Melton at all. They said, De'Anthony, you're going to have to fight through it. They'd end up with their best point of attack guard defender on Kyrie Irving one-on-one ISO. The Mavericks instead relent and allow this switch to occur. Now, this play has been running 4-5 times in a row, and the Mavericks have made no adjustments to switch this. Right here, the two Warriors players are almost close enough. They're just going to shake hands, have a nice picnic, say hello to each other. What a good team would do is say, Quentin Grimes, stay right here. We're going to run with the next screener and keep Daniel Gafford in the paint. Most big men want to stay in the paint. They don't want to be on the perimeter. That's their biggest weaknesses. Their job is rim protector, not perimeter defender. So you would pre-switch this. Instead, they just accept the switch. They're running into each other at this point. Daniel Gafford has to actually bump into his man to get out to the screen. Now you'll notice he's way too far away from Steph Curry. This is too much room for the greatest shooter in the history of basketball, and he's going to bomb it from three. Luka Doncic, pathetic defender, going to give you little to nothing. Bang. Have I told you the definition of insanity? What the Mavericks are going to do is just try to play whoever offense on Steph Curry. Quentin Grimes, going to set a screen. Steph Curry, going to switch. Switch. Andrew Wiggins does what apparently is capable in the NBA. I didn't know you were allowed to do this. You could actually not switch and you could fight through the screen. Now you're asking Daniel Gafford to do something he's not capable of doing, which is finish through traffic. He gets blocked pathetically. Here we go. Have I told you the definition of insanity? The Warriors once again run the play that they've been running since the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Andrew Wiggins is going to pull Quentin Grimes off him. They're going to dive in here. Now Derek Lively, the other center's in the game. It's his turn to be bullied. Luka Doncic, pathetic defender on the perimeter. Derek Lively, not a great perimeter defender. Steph Curry just gives him a little bit of a lean and says, Luka, I'm going to leave you in the dust. You're too fat. You drink too many beers. It's time to make this shot. Now you'll notice there's another outlet. It's not just Steph Curry can shoot the three. Steph Curry has a nice little floater that he's going to go over Quentin Grimes here, but he's also going to recognize that Jonathan Kuminga is peeling towards the basket. He wants the alley-oop. Either way, there's multiple facets of this Warriors offense that's going to lead to points. In this case, Steph Curry says, it's my night. I'm going to take it myself. But the very next possession, same play, Andrew Wiggins, clank, Derek Lively, you're next. Luka switches on almost unnecessarily. There's a little bit of a miscommunication, but they just say, you know what, we're going to do the switch anyway. That's a defense that's been designed up for Jason Kidd. We don't know how to make in-game adjustments. Here comes the real screen. Luka Doncic gives you nothing. Now it's Derek Lively on the perimeter. This time, Steph Curry remembers that his old teammate Jonathan Kuminga was going for an alley-oop here. This time, Joku's almost clogging the paint here. So Klay Thompson is actually in the way, but Quentin Grimes says, oh, it's my job as the help defender to rotate down, which gives Andrew Wiggins a wide-open alley-oop. Unfortunately for the Warriors, or unfortunately for the Mavericks, Steph Curry just barely misses this and goes a little too high. Here come the Mavericks. Now it's a 1-point game. You're down. You need some points. I think they run, I forget what this is called. I think it's stack. But basically, the big sets a screen here and then rolls hard. Luka Doncic pops out to the three-point line, and ideally you get some sort of points off of this. You hope that the ball handler can make a read. Derek Lively sets a pretty weak screen here. D'Anthony Melton fights through it just fine. Andrew Wiggins is going to tag here. He's actually going to point to Draymond Green and say, oh no, you go cover Luka Doncic. I'll take the roller. But Draymond Green is hustling and bustling and making sure that he gets back to his man. So Andrew Wiggins, really good basketball IQ play here. He's going to go, oh, you don't want to cover Luka Doncic? Don't worry, I got you. And they help. This is what I mean when basketball teams play defensively as a connected unit. Everybody switches out. 13 seconds left in the shot clock. Now it's time for Luka Doncic to create. Jab step, jab step, jab step, jab step, jab step, dribble, dribble, post, push, fade, plank. And it's time for the Warriors. Now we're going to do a little bit of trivia here. What play do you think the Warriors are going to run? Are they going to run the Draymond Green go kick somebody in the balls play? Are they going to run the go out and sign Kevin Durant play? Or are they going to run the exact same play that they've ran since the 4-minute point in the fourth quarter of this game? Luka Doncic, terrible defender, going to come out here. Quentin Grimes going to switch on to Andrew Wiggins and be carried down into the paint and into basketball obscurity. Then the real man who's going to get picked on is Derek Lively. He's going to come over here. So now you have the two worst defenders on the perimeter for the Dallas Mavericks guarding Stephen Curry. What do you think is going to happen? Give up the switch way too easy. Don't pre-switch this. These two players are right next to each other. Just say, Derek Lively, you drop down with Andrew Wiggins. Quentin Grimes, you stay on the perimeter. And then if they try to run this play, Quentin Grimes ultimately switches back onto Steph Curry. You get the defender that you wanted in the first place. But once again, Jason Kidd is incapable of making any sort of micro adjustments. And what do you think is going to happen? Steph Curry on an island. Derek Lively, good defender, promising young player, great rim runner, cannot guard Steph Curry on the perimeter, three-pointer, bang, ball game. And this is the difference between good teams and bad teams. This is the difference between good head coaches and bad head coaches. And this is why the Dallas Mavericks will never win with Jason Kidd. When Joe Mazzulla ran a switch everything offense and pre-switched the Al Horford screen and rolls against the Mavericks in the NBA Finals, guess what Jason Kidd did to adjust, to adapt, to overcome, and to win in the NBA Finals? Nothing. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you agreed with, what you disagreed with. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.